Well, I'm Sandra Cheeseman. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at C&K, which is the Creche and Kindergarten Association in Queensland. We operate and are affiliated with over 350 kindergartens and childcare centres. We have a staff of around 2,000 and we span the whole of Queensland, right from the Cape, right down to the New South Wales border and right from the border with Northern Territory over to Magnetic Island in the east. So it's a big expanse and a very complex network. It's been a long held mantra in early childhood that children come first. And I think that really extends to the work environment where conversations, adult conversations, and certainly talking on a mobile phone or being on a laptop or a computer, being on a screen is really seen as not best practice. And, you know, there's a lot in the media, there's a lot in society about limiting children's screen time. And so really the early childhood sector is really coming to terms with what communication means in this era of digital technologies. I think we've really got to challenge that idea that children come first. It's a really important notion because we do want to give our very best to children, and communicating with children is different to communicating with adults. But any adult that has spent time with children, hours upon hour, knows that they hunger for an adult conversation. And so I do think we have to really shift this idea and really start to value the adult conversation in the workplace. And many times that will be related to the work, but also I think it's really important for people to have that sense that they are an adult, that they're entitled to have genuine social conversations with people that can still benefit children. So it is a bit of a dilemma for us at the moment, but it's definitely something that we have to face. This was really interesting because we didn't have time to really think, how are we going to do this? We needed to respond very, very quickly. I guess we had a little bit of lead time and we were starting to think how in our central office in Brisbane we could support our teachers and our educators out in their centres. But what really surprised us was that our teachers were ahead of us. They were already thinking about their children, their communities, and they were working out how they were going to support children and families. So we started to hear from them about what they were doing, and then we realised actually we don't really need to run this from central because we've got all the capability out in the centres. I think we were thinking that it was our responsibility to support the centres, but what we realised is they wanted to be a part of this solution. They know their communities, they know their children, and they knew what the best ways to connect were. So they were coming up with lots of ideas. And the other great thing was that they started to really connect with each other more frequently. There had been a formal process of sort of a meeting each term, but these people started to really network together and share ideas, share resources. So we saw this really organic process happen in response to a crisis. But what it made us realise was and we've known for a long time that there's enormous capability out there, but people want to be autonomous, they want to have some control, some say, and it goes back to what Fiona was talking about, that trust and us realising that we don't have to take full responsibility. Great capability out there. They did a magnificent job. So it's been a real learning curve for us, I think, but it's been a really valuable learning experience. Yeah, I think that's the thing we've really got to keep our eye on, is that we don't just let it fall away because there's no longer a crisis. Because I think what we've really learned is people value much more regular communication than I think we were having with people prior to COVID. That it is a way of people feeding in their ideas and telling us about what they're doing. So I think we really need to now put in place and formalise some structure for keeping that communication going and keeping that level of autonomy going. You can't just rely on people to rise to the occasion when there's a crisis. They now know what it feels like to be able to be empowered within their own communities and make those decisions. And so we've really got to capitalise on that. So I think it's really important that we just don't fall asleep at the wheel and go, okay, that's over, let's just get back to normal. We've learned so much and we really want to make the best of that.